Welcome to another episode of Joan Deserves a Musical, where I talk about my efforts to turn the life of Joan of Arc into a family-friendly animated musical. And those of you who follow me on YouTube may have noticed I took a little break from talking about Joan to make a very long video analyzing Zootopia. I watched Zootopia multiple times with my kids recently and was just so struck by how tightly woven and interconnected it felt. I started doing some research and learning about setups and payoffs in screenwriting. And I learned that Back to the Future is considered like the canonical example of how to do this well. And I did this spreadsheet analysis looking for connections. How many times is there something on this page of a screenplay that references another page of the screenplay? I did that for Zootopia. I did that for Back to the Future. I did that for the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And I made these cool charts showing connections. And it was just for fun. It was just this idea that really caught hold of me, and I ran with. And I'm really proud of the video I made, even though it's sort of obnoxiously long. And this, of course, raised the question, how interconnected is my Joan of Arc script currently? And I didn't know. And so over the holiday break, I was hanging out with family, and I had my Joan of Arc script just open on my phone, and I created. I was gonna do this analysis, and I found out that it was just so muddy. There were kind of maybe sort of subtle connections, but mostly when I analyzed my script in this way, I found out how disjointed and uneven it was. It was sort of shocking, because I had been working on this script for years, and I thought it was really polished and ready to go. But these were some pretty serious gaps, and so I was like, okay, what I'll do is I'll read through the script, and I will just identify places where connections could be made. And I started at the beginning. I got through page 1 or 2, and it just my brain couldn't make any sense of it. And I decided, you know what I need to do? I need to work backwards. So I read my script backwards, page by page. I read the last page, and then the second to last page, and the third to last page. And what I did is I made notes in a document on my phone of hey, this could be a payoff if it was set up earlier. Hey, this idea was just introduced here. It should really be introduced later. Look, we can't introduce new things on the third to last page. This either needs to be removed or set up earlier. And so I had a doc with all numbered 1 through 92, I think is how many pages my screenplay was. And I started on page 92, and I went back, and for each one I made notes. And I ended up with well over 100 notes. Items, tasks, a to-do list for me. I hadn't brought a computer with me, and there wasn't really a way for me to edit my screenplay on my phone. So I just, for most of the holiday, was going crazy. And then finally, I had a weekend after the holiday was over, after I got back to work. My wife was off doing something else, and so I sat down with my computer, and I dug into this, and I started making revisions. And I have finally, a month into 2026, finished these revisions. Today I finally nailed down the last of them, and wow, the screenplay is just, it has a ring of, I don't know how to describe it. Before, I would always read it and be like, this is fine, I feel good about this, look at this thing I wrote. And now it feels like something that's actually been crafted, as though I carved something out of stone. It just has this heft and this smoothness and this inner structure that I'm really excited about. And so then, of course, I went through and did my spreadsheet analysis. Now it was easy to do. Setups and payoffs were very clear. Connections, references were all there. And I made a pretty chart. I'll try to put it right here. And it looks great. Compared to Zootopia, Back to the Future, Pirates of the Caribbean, this looks pretty good. And so I ran the number. How many connections per page on average are there? And despite all my work, it is not as good as any of those movies. Back to the Future, I think, was 1.6 or something, and Zootopia, which was the best, was nearly 3 references per page on average. I'm at 1.5. But still, I feel really good about that. That means every page, on average, has more than one reference to some other page. Every scene, every moment, it's connected to a different part, it really gives it a cohesive, makes a story, right? And especially as we think about telling a historical story, the real task I've discovered throughout this journey is not deciding how to write the dialogue or who to put in the scene. It's deciding which parts of the historical record we keep and which ones we omit. Because if you just tell everything, you don't get a cohesive story. You just get a laundry list of events that happen in a particular order. And if you want to tell a story that has emotional impact, that is compelling, that is enjoyable, that is entertaining, you have to cut away all the miscellaneous stuff that doesn't drive at the point you're getting at. And I feel like this has really forced me to do that. So script is looking really good. Very excited about that. Had a conversation with my songwriter yesterday over email. She has a couple of additional song ideas, and it's great because they align really well with this edit I've been doing. There's a couple spots where it's like, these are not quite working, and they're the spots she wanted to put songs, and so that feels fortuitous. So maybe getting a couple new songs, certainly getting a really polished draft, and then 2026, the big goal this year is to get a proof of concept video put in production. It probably won't be finished. I don't know how long it'll take, but we want to secure ourselves a director with real industry experience, and then we want to raise a little bit of money, not the $15 million figure, probably like $300,000, to have that director make a 2 to 5 minute proof of concept. And once we have that, our executive producer is pretty confident he can screen it at industry events, share it with big name investors, and potentially get the full movie funded. So 2026 is our do or die year. We now have a script that I am willing to bet my life on. We're about to have a couple additional songs that I think will make the structure just perfect. We have some leads on a director, and if all this comes together, it could be a very big year for Joan, and that's what I'm hoping for.